Hi everybody, this is Brooke Bacon. I just wanted to let you know that our webcast will be starting shortly. We are just going to give you a brief overview of GSI while you wait. So who is GSI? GSI is a full-service consulting and managed services organization with deep application and industry knowledge. This deep knowledge allows us to develop advanced AI and automation that delivers cutting-edge intelligence. This unmatched intelligence is what enables our clients to thrive and not just survive. So why partner with GSI? GSI is a full-service ERP, SaaS, cloud, ITSM, cybersecurity reseller, consulting, and managed services organization. We have industry, application, and technical certifications, and we not only understand the business system you are utilizing, but most importantly, the industry. Advanced AI and automation are used in all of our products and services to help our clients reduce TCO and increase ROI. We have offices nationwide and partners worldwide, which allows us to offer a 24/7 global support model. And we are the only partner you will find in the industry that has a 100% guarantee on everything we do. Here are a few of the awards and accreditations and certifications we have received. Our mission is to make every customer a client. To accomplish this mission, we create a culture that attracts and retains the most creative, energetic, and experienced professionals. Here are some of the products that we have developed to help our clients thrive. Genius AI is a platform designed to support the development and execution of customized modules for system monitoring, application monitoring, AI, and automation. Modules can be developed and executed for almost any business system. Our clients use Genesis Performance Optimizer to model, measure, and maximize system performance for all of their web-based business systems. Genome is our newest product that will detect, analyze, and automate the process of converting customizations into orchestrations. Rapid Reconciler is our tool that reconciles perpetual, in-transit, and received not vouchered inventory. Rapid Approval is an application for quickly processing workflow approval requests in Salesforce. And G Shield is a line of security products that we are continuing to expand. Currently, we have two products, JDE Password Reset and JDE Two-Factor Authentication. As you can see from these testimonials, our clients attest to the fact that we focus on the business value of their systems, not just the performance. This business value focus allows our clients to transform antiquated systems of record into market share expansion machines.
All right, what do you say, Dan? Why don't we kick this thing off and get going, all right?
Hey, we do it. Let's go.
All right. So first and foremost, welcome everyone to today's webcast, Exposing Hidden Data Through Form Extension. Appreciate all of you joining us, and we hope that everyone is safe and doing well. So I'm going to give you a brief introduction and some housekeeping. Then I'm going to give you a quick overview of GSI and our company. I'll get into the main presentation, after which I'm going to give a call to action. And then I'm going to toss it over to my buddy Dan. He's going to give you a demonstration and show you exactly what we're talking about. And then we'll open it up for questions and answers, okay? So as I said, my name is Tom Gabriel. I'm a senior solution consultant here at GSI. I basically work with our clients to understand their needs and what they're looking to do, and I work with them to help craft a solution that fits their needs. And then we're fortunate enough to have Dan Schulteis with us. He heads up our delivery organization. He pretty much takes everything we come up with, and he's the man that goes out and basically puts it all together for the client and works with the client to get it all said and done. So a brief, you read our safe harbor statement. Basically, what this is saying to you is that JD Edwards, Oracle, they're fluid organizations and things are constantly moving and changing. And basically, we're going to talk to you today about things that we know and understand as of today, with the understanding that going forward, naturally, things are always going to get better and change. We've been using Zoom for quite a while now, unfortunately. So most of you understand that at the bottom of the Zoom panel, you'll see a little quick Q&A icon. If you do have a question, simply type it in there, hit send. Dan will try to answer while I'm speaking. I'll try to answer while Dan is speaking, and we'll get to the others at the end of the session. So who's GSI? GSI, we're a full service consulting and managed services organization that not only provides you with our deep application and industry experience and our software knowledge and experience, but we also have products that have advanced artificial intelligence and automation that are built in that help supplement and deliver your cutting-edge solution for your organization. And it's all of these things together that enable our clients to thrive, not just survive. So if you look at our organization, we are a global organization with offices nationwide. We supplement our, US-based operations with partners that we vet out, and we hold them to the same standards that we have internally. We are full service ERP, SaaS, cloud, consulting, managed services, security, and all of our consultants are certified not only in JD Edwards, the products or technology that we offer, but also in industry. And as I said, we'll talk about a few of the products we offer that are important in the discussion we're having today and discussions we have been having, especially as it relates to the future of JD Edwards. We are 24/7 and we offer support 24/7 for all of those things listed at the bottom of the screen. But the most important thing here is on the right-hand side. We are the only organization that you're going to come across that will guarantee our services 100%. If in fact we do things that aren't to your liking, we just ask you to let us try to make it right. And if we can't, we'll work with you to credit back those costs. So, as I said, a bunch of awards from in industry, out of the industry. We have professional certifications, both within the Oracle suite of products and or Microsoft and Azure, as well as professional. And we have big in-depth industry experience with all of our consultants. Our mission is simple. We want to make every customer a client, and we want to move from being a vendor to a partner. We want to help you understand strategic direction, best use, where you should be in the industry and in technology. And we do all of that by offering you those core values at the bottom of the screen. So I just want to touch on a couple of these products. One of them is Genius Augmented Intelligence. This is a monitoring tool for any of your mission critical systems. They can be JD Edwards or non-JD Edwards, and it allows you as an organization to become more proactive in approaching your issues versus reactive. We also have a Genesis Performance Optimizer tool, which is basically a measuring and optimizing tool where organizations can benchmark scalability of their organization, throughput of information, how long, where are the bottlenecks, why are the bottlenecks occurring, things of that nature. Great for organizations during upgrades, divestitures, or acquisitions and things of that nature. If I skip to the right-hand side, we have Rapid Reconciler, which lets you reconcile perpetual inventory to your general ledger. And it shows you the reasons and the items that are all out of whack. But more importantly than that, it also provides you with a subsidiary ledger of received not vouchered, that big payable that's sitting out there. And you have no idea why you might have a receipt that came in or a payable that went out, but yet it didn't get offset to your purchase order. It also provides a subsidiary ledger for your goods in transit. You have warehouses throughout the country and goods get on a truck to another warehouse. All of a sudden it's a black hole and you have no idea what's involved, when is it going to get there. Rapid approval for our Salesforce customers to do batch approval processing. Our G Shield product does two things. Two-factor authentication, where if you have people in the field on a mobile device, it'll actually send them a message to authenticate themselves before they get in. And it'll also allow your users to change their passwords so that if you are a global organization or throughout the US, you don't have to worry about your CNC or admin person being up 24 hours a day. And our most important product, if you ask me, is Genome. Genome is a tool that we have where it's able to go into your JDE system and it's able to look at your customizations and processes, and it's able to detect and analyze and tell you what of those things can be replaced by an orchestration. And you should understand that being able to do that is very important because you minimize ongoing redevelopment work you might have to have. Go to our website. Across all of those things, you'll have testimonials from our clients. Take a chance, read them, see what's going on. So now let's get into this and let's extend yourself and understand what we're talking about form extensions. It's all about user-defined objects, UDOs, those infrastructure tools that Oracle has in the tool and foundation layer that let you manage and get the most out of your Enterprise One application. It lets you be able to increase the value of JD Edwards by making your total cost of ownership lower than it has to be, by letting users configure and personalize what they need to do. It allows you to scale, and by scale, I mean get the most out of your people and your business. So user-defined objects, they're the key components for the creation of not only a user experience, but digital transformation. And here's some of them that JD Edwards has to offer. And what we're going to talk about today is we're going to talk about form extensions. And form extensions are different than form personalizations, right? A form personalization is simply going to allow you to change the look of the screen and the application you're in, whereas that form extension is going to let you expose data elements that aren't necessarily exposed within the application. Now, when Dan gets into his demo, you're going to see that he's going to be doing both of them at the same time, but you don't necessarily need to do form personalization to do a form extension. Now, it's important to understand that right now, Oracle, our application release level is 9.2.5, and our tools release level is 9.2.5.3. I'm sorry, application level is 9.2.5.3 also. But what's important is we are now supporting release 9.2 to December of 2032. So that's 11 more years you get premier support. I'm showing you this because there's a mindset at Oracle. The mindset is a continuous innovation delivery model. Let's continue to make changes and enhancements and fixes, but let's do it throughout the year. And that makes you as an organization necessary to understand what these things are so that you can then analyze them and deploy them within your organization. So if you are not on release 9.2, or if you're not on a later tools release, I suggest that you get there quickly. But remember, just because you upgrade to applications 9.2.5, just because you upgrade to tools 9.2.5.2, that doesn't mean that your code current continuous innovation. Because what continuous innovation means is Oracle is going to keep giving it to you, but you have to keep adopting it and analyzing it. So Oracle comes out at least twice a year, more than twice a year, with new tools releases. They come out with application enhancements probably once a year. What you need to do on a regular basis is look at those, figure out what they are, how they can fit in your organization, put them in your test environment, let your users play, and move forward from there. Now, putting things in a test environment, you should give Tom and Dan total access so that we can try everything out and figure out what works. Now, naturally, when you promote them up into production, you're going to put your security in place the way your security model works. But at least let the users determine what can or can't work for them in a production world. So go to learnjde.com, talk to other organizations, make sure you continually analyze what's out there and what's available. So when we talk form personalizations and extensions, these things came out 6 years ago. And you could see the tools release levels that came out in those 6-month periods and form personalizations, how through 2017, the tools releases, 50% of them had some type of change. Then all of a sudden, we had not only form extensions, but form personalizations that came out through April of 18. And you can see in the first 7 months of 2019, more enhancements to both of those. And again, through June of 2020, and now through 9253, you can see that Oracle is continually delivering enhancements that allows users to personalize their forms, but more importantly, manipulate them to make them work the way they need them to work. So 9244, form personalization, repositioning a form control, marking it as required, okay? Which means now that users, in effect, you're modifying how the form is gonna work. If I look at 925, form extension enhancements, this is huge. If you ask me, this is huge. And Dan will, elaborate on that when he gets into it. But you're going to be able to take now fields that you normally didn't see on your form, because when the form was developed, it was developed with a tool set called, Form Design Aid. And those fields were, quote, hidden. Now you're going to be able to go in there and grab a field and plop it on your form without saying to IT, hey, can you go out and create a whole new form for me to do this? And when you move that form over or move that field over onto the form, you now, through your form personalization, you can say that this field is required on all the versions of the application. So that now, regardless of what version, regardless of what business view, that field is going to show up everywhere. And again, you can mark it as required. And what this does is this means you don't need any more customizations. You don't need a business analyst. You don't need an IT guy to work with a business analyst to make the change. So 9253, you can now have an associated description with the edit control on a form. And I know a lot of this it sounds, Greek to people or whatever, but basically what this is saying to you is now when there's a field on a form that all you saw was a value, you can make the description mandatory so you can see what that is. It's important now to fully understand your JDE system and how it works. So I just got through saying to you that a form extension can take a field and expose it onto a form that you never saw before. So where is all this information sitting? Well, it all sits and starts with what's called a table in JD Edwards. And a table is a file, right? It's a mass of data that is made up of different fields that is stored in one central place. So if I look at sales order entry, the table we're going to use in today's demonstration, you can see that there's a myriad of fields that are in that table or file. But there's fields that you never see. A field like ACOM, or the buyer name, the person in your organization that puts in a purchase order. There's, these fields are called columns in JD Edwards. So you have a table, and that table has multiple columns. And you could have hundreds of these columns. You might have something called primary supplier. Who do I normally get this item from? You might have a flag in there that says, what type of order is this? Now, how many of us, when we created sales order entry, we use a document type? Oh, it's an SZ for an EDI order. It's an SO for a regular order. It's an ST, right, for a transfer order. Well, little did anybody know that there's a field in there, a column, that depending upon how you use the application, it gets populated with a value that you can expose and now see and be able to understand what kind of order it is. What about all those user fields JD Edwards added years ago because people said, I need additional places to put information? Well, if I put information in that user code field, there was no form that exposed it. I'd have to have IT create one for me. Now I can go grab it and expose it myself. So we have a table that has a bunch of columns, i.e. a file with a bunch of, data elements in it, fields. Then somebody writes an application and says, okay, sales order entry. I'm going to write this application and I'm going to write a version for it to enter a sales order. Now, when I do that, I create a kind of form as well. Most of us every single day go into JD Edwards with a find browse form, right? We go in there, we inquire on something, then there's radio buttons at the top to add, do whatever. There's a search and select form where we click a visual assist and it pops up a window and says, oh, what do you want to search? And then if you select it, I'll bring it back. And then the last one we use is a fixed inspect form. We use them all, but for the most part, fixed inspect form. That means when I'm in sales entry now, sales order entry, and I put in a quantity of 10 with an amount of X or whatever, and then I say, okay, it enters the data into the system. So it's important to understand the types of forms you're dealing with. So a find browse form, I go into my customer service inquiry screen. I have a search and select form that I turn around and I get a visual assist. I click on the visual assist and it pops up this search and select form. I turn around and I want to enter data. I hit the plus sign. I go into a fixed inspect form. All of these forms are written over a table of data. And that table of data, the form is selecting only certain columns, i.e. fields. Now, I can have different versions of these applications. And when I have different versions, I can set processing options up that say, hey, this is what it represents. So if I look at, a direct ship order, I might create a version that says this is going to be direct ship. Or if this is a blanket order, I can create version 4, says it's a blanket order. And when I do that and use that form, the system knows there's different things that need to happen with the data and where the data goes. How does it know all of that? It knows all of that because of processing options. Now, if you ask me, sales order entry is one of the most robust applications in JD Edwards. And you can see that we have over 29 different tabs of processing options and what to do. And when you select on one of these tabs, there's multiple fields and questions you have to answer. Some of them might have 20, 30 kinds of questions you have to answer to do certain things. Some of them might only have a few. Now, if you can remember back to that screen where I showed you the different columns, i.e. fields, and I talked to you about transfer orders, and I said, hey, there's a field in there. Well, there's a processing option that you set that says, hey, what kind of order is this? Is it a transfer order? Well, if it is, I simply put a 1 in this option, and the system knows when I use this to go into that field column in the table and put in a value. And what does that all mean? It all means that when you look at an application and you go up in the upper right and you hit the little question mark, and then you click on about, Every application is going to tell you the application, P4210 sales order entry. It's going to tell you the version, and then it's going to tell you the form. And the form controls how many of these fields we're going to be over and manipulate. So when we look at it, put it all together, this is what it looks like. I have a table, 4211, sales order detail, might have over 300 fields or columns. Then I write an application over a form, and then I have multiple versions. And each business view or form only selects certain columns, and those versions only manipulate the data in those certain columns. Again, just trying to make you understand that even though you go into one of these applications and look for a field, you may not see it. You may not see it because the form itself didn't have it. Let's add insult to injury and talk about joining tables. And the people in IT and development understand this. Joining of the table says, I want to take two tables together. Think about your sales order entry. You have a customer you're selling to, that you're selling items for, and then you're creating a sales order. Well, if you look at that customer information, like, what kind of customer group is it, or item information like the grade and potency of the item or the item family it belongs to, none of that information is in the sales order table. Well, if I join them all together, not only do I have over 300 fields, now I could have over 600 fields because I mushed them all together. So just understanding, if you're working with join tables, what Dan is going to show you works for that as well. So all of this stuff we just talked about was done with that form design aid, that enhancement I showed you about how form extensions now remove the need to do that. That's how easy it's gotten. Now, here's a call to action for you. I may have said a lot of things for a lot of people that they had no clue about, nor might they even care about. Well, when it comes to user-defined objects and it comes to helping the user community do things better and more efficiently, GSI, we're out there to help you. So if you see something today and you say, you know what, I wouldn't mind having somebody help me develop a form extension on certain applications, contact GSI, contact Dan. Dan is more than willing to work with you, have your group understand what's going on. The second thing, we're also willing and happy to have you go back to your organization and say, you know what, let's get a group of people from our internal organization, and GSI, can you give me this presentation just for my company? We'll do that for you too. So having said all of that, we're going to get in now. We're going to take a look at what we've been talking about, and we're going to take that look by assuming certain things. When I showed you the table of data and the columns, there were some that had red boxes around them, the buyer number, the primary last supplier number, the transfer direct ship intercompany flag number. When Dan gets into his presentation, he's going to show you how you can grab all those, bring those back, and be able to see in the transfer direct ship intercompany field, if there's a 1, you know it's a transfer order. If there's a 4, you know it's created via the purchase order. So that's what we're going to get to. I'm going to stop sharing. Dan, I'm going to let you jump on, and then you can go from there.
All right. Let's see if I can share my screen.
That would work.
It would. Let's see if you got it here. It should be popping up any second now.
You're good, Danny.
All right. Okay. So, guys, I'm telling you, we're going to show you the stuff Tom was just talking about, and I also want to show you something else that I was playing around with today as well. It's kind of cool. So, yeah. So I always tell people this, that I can't believe how much JD Edwards has changed for this part of it, because frankly, I wish I was a user again, because this stuff has would make my life so much easier than it was. Just to have someone add a field to a screen, my God, it was an act of Congress. So let's talk about some of the stuff Tom was just showing you with some of the, the vendor number and all the stuff. So let's go into sales order inquiry. And we're going to go in here. We're just going to, it looks like your regular old regular, right? But up here in the top corner, we've got a bunch of icons. And these icons all mean something. You've got your query, your watch list, your form personalization. And we're going to talk about the form extension. And if you're familiar with form personalization, you're going to see that I can do some of that as well when I get here. Some of these things actually, you're going to move some stuff around. So let's pull this up. Okay, so just like form personalization, you've got a place up here. You can move these fields around. You can remove them, whatever you want to do. So if I don't want to care about currency, I can just get rid of them. Boom, gone, right? So that's just the way it is. But of course, because I'm not doing form personalization, I don't have them here to add them back. So you got to be careful if you use it here. Well, let's talk about this. I've got a few things I can do here. If I had multiple forms or multiple names out here, we could actually see them out here, what we've done. If you have orchestrations you wanted to add, you can also add them in here. We're not going to go about that today, just so you know it's there. You can add a button, and that button can perform a row exit or a certain exit or a certain something, whatever you want to do. You can actually change your exits, just like you can in form personalizations. I can go out and say, you know what, on this row exit, I want to actually go to address book or whatever. Okay, so you can do whatever you want to do. But today, what we're going to talk about is all this stuff down at the bottom here. We've got stuff for the form, which will be up here. And we've got stuff for the grid, which is down here. And you can add anything you want to that if it exists in this business view. Okay. So if you've got multiple business views, there are some screens that have multiple business views or one business view. You can actually go tweak it, pick whatever one you want, and you can actually go select the item you want and put in there. So for the example that Tom said, he had a couple of them out here. So let's look at the SO11. Oops, it is case sensitive. Oh, I want to get the right O. That's my transfer direct intercompany flag. I want to just click yes on that. So where'd that put it? So I did that just for grins. We're going to slide over. It's all the way here at the end. So, when we get into this later around, I have my own column view out here. I'm going to change that because you don't want to necessarily drop and drag it because these form extensions, if someone else used the same version of this, it will show up wherever you put it. So it may not make sense for someone to see that if that's not what they're using it for. Okay, so that, let's see, we got A and BY was another one. It's our buyer number. We're going to grab that. And let's see, ACOM. So you can do it by field name if you know it. If you don't know it, we can get rid of that, and you'll see them all. Or this way, they're alphabetic by just the thing. They're not necessarily alphabetic by description, but you can make it that way. Okay, so we also want to have our, which one? I think it's, I have my user reserve stuff, right? So be careful of this, by the way. If you notice in some of these user reserve stuff, there's different user reserve stuff for different files. And this will get you and bite you if you don't pay attention. If you're looking to put it in the form, in the regular sales order entry, you want to make sure you're 4211, not the history. Okay, so you got to be careful with that. I've done that before where I'm like, why won't this show up? Well, we'll talk about that in a minute. So we want to grab a few of these things. We want to say user reserve amount, code, date, and number. Just grab a bunch of them here in reference. So we save that. Close. Okay, so now I come out here because I want to show you in the library, and here's all the things we just added. There are just columns out there. It's awesome, right? So again, I don't know if you guys know this little trick either, by the way. If you click on these guys, click once, then hold down the enter bar. I don't know, it does works on Chrome. I don't know about anything else. Click up and then you hold down the enter. You have to click a million times to get where you want to go. So that's kind of a neat thing. I don't know if you guys knew that or not. So we'll just leave those there. I don't need to bring them all over, but you get the idea. Okay, good. All right, so here's my user reserved numbers and my reference. So if I, I guess I probably should have brought some more of these over here. We want to also talk about this guy. This is the one we were really worried about. Pull it up right. It's a long way to go. All right, so one of the things Tom was mentioning on here is we want to be able to actually see orders that are, the way this came out before, there was a client who had was doing transfer orders, but somebody was using the SO order and creating the STs. They're just overriding the order to the doc type. Well, yes, it'll work, but no, it's going to cause you problems down the road because it's not going to create your PO, all that stuff, right? So that was the big deal, and that's where that came from. So what we wanted to do, since we will help here, is we wanted to see, what was what. What is a transfer? What's a direct ship? So all the things that are SOs that were a transfer, right? So that was kind of the whole thought. Oops. So are there any out there that are transfers? So we want to see, I think that was a 1, right? May not have been a 1. It was a 1. Okay, so I guess we don't have any left, but we had some out here before examples, but it would show the SOs that are set up as a transfer order. Silly, right? But those things happen. Those things happen. People do things and stuff, and that was the reason why we had these. We actually corrected the ones we had in our last demo. Sorry, I don't think we put any new stuff out there, but it's a nice way to see all that stuff, and you could find those errors. Then you could find, even who did it if you wanted to put the user ID. Oh, Tom did that. What was he thinking? He did that again, right? So you can go then trace it down. So just like anything else in JD Edwards, the ability to have your CSI skills to figure out who did what, how it happened, and why is just another bullet in the gun for you to go get it. So that's pretty cool. So let's get rid of these. I want to get rid of this for a second and start over. I want to show you something else really cool that I was trying to mess around with, and I got it to work. So that's always fun, right? Let's go back here, and I'm just going to delete this stuff in the grid. Okay, so my next thing I want to show you guys is I had a save that and get up. I had a customer was asking for I'm going to say that it was going to be for tracking number. It wasn't really for tracking number. It was from some other number. I can't remember what it was for. We couldn't get it to work right away when I got it, right? So we're going to go back out to the menu. We're going to do one from ship confirm. So I want to take the ship confirm, and I want to add a field that I can actually enter at ship confirm, and it'll show us up in the sales order, right? So I have a query out here for SOs. I thought I had one for my customer. Hold on, what's my number? A moment, please. I actually wrote this down. I was playing around today. All right, 6012, so the customer. Okay, so I want to go with order 3835, just to show you what's out here. So basically, I got a couple things out here for the bikes, right? Got a couple of bikes that are all ready to go, ready to ship confirm, but I really need the ability to add in another, I'm going to shoot in a different number, shoot in a special date of when it's actually going to be received at the client or the customers, whatever the case may be. So let's go add some of this stuff. Again, remember what I said before about sometimes there's things in 4211, sometimes there's things in 42119. Well, when we first were doing this, we didn't really pay attention, notice that part. But if you slide on down to the bottom, these are all 42199 or transportation stuff, the other user reserve stuff. Well, that's not going to help me at all. So I'm going to go up here to references up here. Okay, these are user reserves that are 4211. So I'm going to grab that. I'm going to grab the date, and we'll grab code too, just for grins. not going to grab them here. I got the wrong, I got the header here. Sorry. So let's do this again. So 38, 35. Sorry, I'm going to stumble on that one because I just did this today. So I'm like all excited. I click into it and here's where I want to add my stuff. Okay, and I wanted to make sure this is override. URR. Event date. Okay, and these are, again, these are the ones that are 4201. I don't want 4201, I want 4211. See, you've got to be careful when you do this. And that's why when I first did this, I couldn't get it to work. I'm like, why won't this work? I don't get it. Well, that's why. My goodness. Oh, damn. Lordy. There we go. All right. Here's a reference 4211. Date, code. Okay, and of course, it was simple. It would have simply been the UR, and it would have showed them all up there. UR. Of course, I didn't do that, right? To make it easy, and myself, I didn't do that at all. So let me save that. Let's try it again. Do a find. Select again. And if you notice now, here's my guide. Oh, where are my guys?
You got one up in the header, Dan. Did you add one up in the header? It says you did it on the header, not the grid. See it up there?
They're here. They're here. I got some in here.
Gotcha.
So, all right. So let me select one. And I'm going to ship back out. Let me do this again. I wonder why I did that. I'll ship two bikes. And I want these guys to be empty, but I think I filled them in when I was just playing around today. But anyway, let's put in new numbers. Do 555, 666, something silly to remember. Let's put in the date of May 1st. May 3rd, give them the weekend. Ship okay. Well, this should be 40. Okay, so the cool thing I was trying to get to, which I'm struggling to get to at this point, but we're going to do it anyway. I'm going to back out here to the sales order or inquiry. We're going to add those fields again to that. This time we'll do the quick way instead of trying to hunt and peck for it because that was silly. Want the grid. Come on. You are.
And the nice part about this, Dan, and I'm sorry that we're struggling with this, but what's interesting is even though we're quote unquote struggling, it's not taking us forever. You know, it's taking maybe 10 minutes, right?
Yep.
So it's a lot different than putting in an IT request, having to talk to them about what you want, having them develop it, having them test it, all that other good stuff. You just get in there and like Dan is showing you, you make a mistake, you go in and you fix it. You know, you just go and change it. So.
Yep, so let's do this real quick. Kind of give you an idea where we're at here. Save it. And we'll look up that number, 3835. And oh, why is it in my hold code? There it is. Sorry. Bring it up wide open here. There's a guy I just added, the 555-666. There's my 5/3 date. So, you know, the reason I even point that out is because sometimes it's shipping, there's other things that you need to add something. And there's other customers, they needed something different. It wasn't tracking number, but I just put something in there, right? But it could be something to have, and you've got a bunch of user reserves to populate and do it. And you can do it, and it's there. You don't have to wait for any other integrations. You don't have to do anything else. You just fill it in. So, you know, that's it. That's it in a nutshell. It's pretty simple. And like I said, it makes a world of difference compared to what was even last version, you know, last tool set, you know, so it's just really great. And I think that as you start playing with it, you'll find a million reasons to get rid of some of these mods you have and just put it back to vanilla and use these. Because frankly, again, that's half the battle of going to the next tools release is because you got to retrofit things.
And what's nice,
yeah.
And I'm sorry, Dan, what's nice is what Dan just did on this one form and version. Don't forget now that with the latest tools release, you can make what he just did a requirement on all the forms and versions. So, you know, if there is a business reason for that you need to do it, it's a very easy thing to make company-wide across the organization. So.
The cool thing about that is, you know, it's just like anything else. It's got to go through promotion. It's got to be accepted by everybody, whoever the gatekeeper is for that. But yes, it can be done universally. It's great.
Well, understanding that the last statement Dan just made, that is the way you should do these. Now, right now, Dan, for argument's sake, if he had access, he could be in production doing this. That's not how you want to use UDOs, right? You want to make sure, I said earlier, you give your user community access and test. And when you figure it all out, you do it in test, and then you follow change management and promote it up. So, you know,
Where's
Dan
the fun in
has
that,
happy fingers, you know?
Where's the fun in that, though, Tom?
Yeah, exactly. You have happy fingers. You like to just go right at it.
Exactly.
All right, you all set?
I'm all set. You can take this back. I'll stop sharing.
All right.
There you go, Tom.
Thank you, sir. And again, I hope that to a degree that I know we may have moved quickly through some of this stuff or whatever, and we really only talked about form extensions and a very, very high level and touched on personalization. Just remember that training, you know, that Dan's group can give you, you can have that across any of the UDOs you want. So if you want Dan to show you, you know, not only form extensions, but also enterprise search and help your group understand both of those, by all means, we're willing to do that for you. And like I said, if you're one person in your organization, but we struck a nerve and you said, geez, it'd be nice if this group saw this, reach out to us and we'll be more than happy to do a customized, you know, webinar just for your organization. Lastly, go to our website. We have recorded webcasts, upcoming webcasts. We have workshops. Dan and I are going to be doing one next week where we literally, for half a day, you can get on our system and you can walk through examples of creating multiple things with all the UDOs. We have a newsletters and blog, and we have a resource center. We also have this, you know, not only the blog, but we also have what's called erp-talk.com, where if you have a question, you leave this webinar, something strikes your fancy, you say, geez, I want to know about this. You can go to our website, enter a question, and we'll have somebody give you an answer, okay? So again, we believe in helping the ecosystem. We believe in helping organizations utilize JD Edwards to the best of their capability. We will do whatever almost whatever you ask us to do as far as trying to help you and your organization learn. We can't do that, though, unless you ask us.
Hey, Tom, someone did ask us something.
Okay.
Someone asked the question if I could show the easy movement up the display in the order. Yeah, can I show this
Okay,
back again?
go ahead. It's all you, man. Take
Because
control.
this is one of those things that I'm like, holy cow, and it was totally by accident that I found this. So I don't know if it's a thing that Oracle has done on purpose or not, or just the way Chrome works. I don't know. But when you're in here and you pick something at the bottom of your grid, let me pull one up here. It's pretty simple. So let's go change my view here. Let's grab something from the bottom. Pull signal. Don't even know why I would have that, but I do. So if I click the up button, it goes up one, and then I go to my enter and I hold down the enter button, it just goes right up the top. It's awesome. It's awesome. And
It is.
especially when you're doing sales order and there's like a zillion columns.
Yeah.
Sure helps you get the stuff up, you know, to bring all the front. You know, you can do this thing where you get rid of everything, and that's just not that's not the answer, right? But you know, you can bring whatever you want, and I think it works the same way down too. It does. So you want those secondary quantities and times, you don't want those there, get rid of them. You know, you can get rid of them or just put them down at the bottom. You know, so there we go. We got more questions. Good, excellent. So also, you know, I've got a trick I'm going to put out on the website again, which was just a app that was out there, and it's a nice way to do multiple fields when you do data selection. You can actually import it from a Excel sheet. It's pretty cool. I'll put that on the website. It's pretty neat. But that's one that's oldie but a goodie that people love once they see it. They're like, oh my God, where's this been? So JDE doesn't do that, but there are apps that do stuff like that. So I'm going to put that out there. That's just on a QT.
So I don't know. I don't want to date myself or other people, but you know what Dan is. He's like on the Mork and Mindy show, the big giant brain. You know.
No, I'm the guy in the egg.
Yeah. Mork.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. So with that, I don't know if there's any more questions or whatever, but again, as I said, just reach out to us. We're on all forms of social media. We have not been blacklisted yet, thank God. So just reach out to us in any form or fashion. And as I said, communicate to us with whatever you need. Stay engaged in the ecosystem of Oracle and JD Edwards. And again, there's some contact information at the bottom of the screen. Feel free. Dan, you have any other words of wisdom that you want to leave us with?
No, I'm good. I'm just excited that everyone's happy with that little trick. It's kind of a neat thing. But yeah, I think you guys are going to love, you know, if you start playing around in these, if you're at 925 or 924, most of these things are there. Just start playing around with them. If you don't see it, ask for access because it's out there. You have to, everything comes locked down. So you have to get, you know, permission, if you will, by your, you know, CNC folks or whatever it is to activate these. But once they're activated, oh my gosh, have fun with it. It's great. You're gonna you'll find a million things.
That's a good point, Dan. Good point. And like I said, right before we close, we are, Dan and myself, we are going to do a workshop. That one slide I showed you of all the different types of UDOs, we will actually let you get in our system. We'll give you a training book with exercises to create a Cafe One page, to create an enterprise search, to do form extensions and personalizations. So if you want to touch and feel and get a little more hands-on, especially in light of the fact that Dan said you have to be granted access in your organization, and if you haven't, you might want to just jump on and figure out and see, hey, what can we do? So go to our website, sign up, and hope to see you there. If not, Mr. Schulteis, as always, I thank you very much. Ms. Bacon, who's behind the scenes and nobody saw it, thank you, Ms. Bacon. And again, thanks everybody for joining us today. Stay safe, stay well, and we'll hope to talk to you all soon.
Thank you, guys.
Kevin, if you're still there, Can we see the form extension button in the
Oh,
existing?
go ahead. Go ahead. You got
Yeah,
another
go
one?
ahead. Go ahead.
Kevin, you had a question that says you're at tools release 9252. Congratulations, by the way. Can we see the form extension button in the existing application? Only if you're granted access.
Correct.
You not see it at all. So,
And I would tend to think that most people will see a form personalization button before they see the form extension. Because if you think about how robust it is, what Dan is doing, in effect, you're literally saying for a given application, I want to be able to change all the fields we can get to and be able to start manipulating data that was behind the scenes potentially and didn't do anything. So it's a good question, but it's something that you really need to talk to your staff about to see if in fact you should do it.
okay. Well, thanks everybody.